Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Simon Steph and you guys. So today we're going to be taking a look at something a little different, and what we're going to be taking a look at today is a conspiracy theory that celebrities actually fake their death to get a new and better life. And before we get into this video, I just want to say that I don't mean to like disgrace or be disrespectful to any of these celebrities who died. It's just a conspiracy theory and I'm just taking a look at just a different approach and just looking at some facts. Yeah, so we're going to be taking a look at this, and maybe these celebrities, maybe their deaths aren't so crystal clear. So celebrities who fake their deaths. Faking deaths has been around forever. It's been seen in pop culture for years, dating back to Romeo and Juliet.
Dateless bargain to engrossing death.
And even as recent as Stranger Things. So faking deaths could be done for many reasons, but the number one reason is to get away from your current life and start a brand new life living anonymous. So in today's video, we're going to be covering a couple different celebrities, including XXXTentacion, Elvis, Michael Jackson, and finally Tupac. So XXXTentacion, now that's a recent one, and I don't really want to cover it that much, and just because I still am in shock and distress of what happened. X, really, I loved X. He did some questionable things, which I will get into it in a second, but overall X really was a nice guy, and I really did like him for the person he was and the music and just everything that he brought to this world. So last month in June, X was pulling out of a motorcycle shop when all of a sudden a car drove by, pulled out, and someone shot him in the car. So it's alleged that X died that night. The police confirmed it, his manager confirmed it, and even his own mother confirmed it. There even is a video of him in his car which he appears to be dead. However, I'm not gonna play it just because I feel like it's disrespectful and it's not really needed to get the point across, but if you guys saw it, then you guys know what I mean. Yeah, but even with all of those people confirming it, there are still some conspiracies that X actually faked his death and is still alive. So in that footage of X, which he appears to be dead in his car, people were saying that he actually is still alive. People were saying that that isn't X. People were saying so much stuff. Now, people were saying that X couldn't be dead because there were no bullet holes in the car. So if X got shot, why were there no bullet holes? Not only that, but it was said that X got shot in his neck or head area, but in the video which appeared to be dead in, there was no blood anywhere. Not in his neck, not in his head, not even anywhere around it. So if he got shot in the neck or head, why isn't there any blood? Not only that, but conspiracists were saying that that person who was in the car is not X because they didn't have the same tattoos as X. They were actually missing tattoos that X had. You know, the tattoo on X's forehead. Well, in the video of what looked like to be X laying in the car dead, that person did not have the tattoo on their forehead. So I mean, there are just many things that were just off about this whole thing. Yeah, so that was just one big reason on why people believe that that was not X in the car and that X still is alive. Not only that, but this has happened before, and X actually did fake his death once before.
Everybody needs to chill the fuck out. It's not cool to make assumptions. Relax. Nobody around in my camp claimed I was dead. Nobody said I was dead. The caption was not XXX is dead. Everybody gotta chill the fuck out. No one said I died.
Many people are saying that he, yet again, is faking his own death for a song. Now, it is alleged that this song is called No Pulse. What's even weirder than that, people are saying that if you listen to the song backwards, that there are some hidden messages in there. Now, for someone to fake their death, they need a motive. They wouldn't all of a sudden just randomly fake their death for no reason. And one of the reasons could be that X, he was going under some issues in his personal life. He was currently going through some issues within court and he had to deal with them. One of which was that he apparently abused his pregnant girlfriend. Not only that, but about a year or two ago, he ended up beating up a gay cellmate. So people were looking at him differently like that. And there's a lot of hate going around X's name. So I mean, he did have a motive to do so. He wanted to escape from that life. Now, there is no doubt that X's #1 goal was to help people with mental issues and to reach out to the kids. However, X was going through some mental issues himself, and with all these charges that he had. Now, if X actually did fake his death, there is no doubt that X definitely did have a motive for it. However, aside all of this, it kind of is ruled out because he did have an open casket funeral the other week. But on the other hand, it could be another Stranger Things. Alright, moving on to the next person. So Elvis Presley.
The band was jumping and the jump began to swing. You should have heard your knocked out jailbird sing that rock.
Name definitely sounds familiar. One of the most known celebrities that ever lived. Known as the king of rock and roll. He sadly died on August 16, 1977. Or did he? Now, when Elvis Presley was reported dead, there was actually many people who didn't think that he died. But in fact, they thought that he actually faked his death. Now, there are many reasons for this. Now, one of the many reasons to why people think that Elvis actually did fake his death is because that there was an open casket funeral. However, many people thought that that actually wasn't Elvis laying there in the casket, that was a fake wax dummy. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it's been seen many times before in pop culture where the body that seems to be dead isn't actually a real body. Yeah, so there are many conspiracists who think that this wasn't Elvis at all and that this was just a wax dummy and just a cover up. Now, of course, this wasn't the only thing, but on Elvis's grave, it would appear that his middle name was spelled wrong. Now, Elvis's middle name was Aaron, however, growing up, he always spelled it A-R-O-N, and on the grave, there appeared to be an extra A, which means that this can't be Elvis. Yeah, that was another big thing that led to people thinking that Elvis is still alive and faked his death. Now, Elvis, he was definitely loved by a lot of people, but he was also hated by a lot of people as well. So Elvis was thought by many adults to be the symbol of teenage rebellion, and they didn't like him. Many adults thought that he was glorifying sex. Now, dance moves like the pelvis could be seen by adults unfamiliar to this type of dance as being seductive. Some even saw Elvis as a sexual pervert. Now, as a celebrity, of course, Elvis was accused of many stuff. Elvis was even accused of being a racist at one point. So maybe all this hate got to him, maybe all this negative controversy around his name got to him, and maybe he had a fear for losing his life. So the only solution that Elvis thought of was to fake his death, to avoid all of this, to start fresh, start somewhere new, anonymous. So when he died, Elvis had a full autopsy, and the full report for it was sealed by his father and said that he wouldn't open it until 2027. 50 years later. Now, why? No one knows to this day. Maybe it's because the autopsy report isn't real and Elvis is still alive, living an anonymous life somewhere else. Now, for the next celebrity we're gonna be talking about, it's actually a very interesting one and it ties into Elvis so well. So Michael Jackson was known as the king of pop. Not much different than Elvis, who was known as the king of rock and roll. Now, not only that, but Michael Jackson was actually married to Elvis's daughter. Like, how freaky is that? So when Elvis died, Michael said to his wife that he was afraid of dying like Elvis. Now, what did that mean? And we already know the clues surrounding Elvis's apparent death might lead to him actually faking his own death. So does this mean that Michael Jackson knew that Elvis faked his death and that Michael Jackson one day was gonna fake his death as well? So in case you guys don't know, what ended up happening with Michael Jackson and how he died was that back in 2009, he ended up having a drug overdose. So basically what happened is that Michael Jackson's doctor, Dr. Murray, ended up prescribing him with too much medication, and then Michael Jackson ended up having an overdose and died from it. So many people were mourning the death of Michael Jackson. However, there were a lot of fans and conspiracists who thought it was just a little odd, just what happened after that. So many fans and many conspiracists thought that just everything surrounding Michael Jackson's death, it didn't add up. So at Dr. Murray's trial, there was surveillance footage shown of Michael Jackson's home in the last little bit. However, the last 24 hours before Michael Jackson died, just all of a sudden vanished. Like, it disappeared. Now, no one quite knows why. Some people think that it was to hide the fact that there was some type of secret helicopter that ended up picking up Michael Jackson and flying away. But if Michael Jackson wanted to fake his death and move somewhere new to start a new life, he would have to leave somewhere. And this gives him the anonymous way to do it. Now, something that's really interesting, reports back in January 2009 were saying that Michael Jackson's health was getting worse and that it was only expected that he had about 6 more months to live. Now, that would tie him to June 2009, coincidentally the exact same time that Michael Jackson died by accident. Now, for anyone to fake their death and start a new life, they've had to have a motive for this, and Michael Jackson definitely could have had a motive for this. So Michael Jackson, in order for him to fake his death, he had to have a motive for it. Now, believe it or not, Michael Jackson was $400 million in debt. Now, this drug addiction of his definitely did not help his financials. Now, not only that, but there were many stuff going around Michael Jackson's name, and even in 1993, someone accused him of child abuse. Now, there are many videos, and there even is a webpage dedicated for people who have spotted Michael Jackson around the world. Now, some of these pictures definitely do look like it could be Michael Jackson, but then again, it could just be an impersonator. Now, Michael Jackson did fake his death. Well, he had the perfect plan. Now, him and Elvis were both known as the king of pop and the king of rock and roll. Not only that, but Michael Jackson was even married to Elvis's daughter. So if Michael Jackson did actually fake his own death, it would have been the perfect plan. So another person who for years has rumored to have faked their death is Tupac.
Back to get wrecked. All respect to those who break their neck to keep their hopes in check, 'cause oh, they sweat a brother majorly.
Now this guy's death is mysterious, and to this day they still don't know who the killer is. So the killer to this day still isn't known, and that's one of the reasons on why people think that Tupac faked his death is because there was no killer, because he's still alive. Many people think for some reason that he ended up moving to Cuba and he's living a secret, isolated life there. Now something really interesting is that Tupac had another stage name, which was Machiavelli. Now there's this guy from the 16th century who had a name similar to Machiavelli who believed in faking death. It said that this guy may have even faked his own death himself. Now something really interesting which I didn't actually notice until literally just before I filmed this video is that if you rearrange the letters in Machiavelli, it ends up spelling out am alive K. Now is it a coincidence that Tupac had the stage name Machiavelli and also posted an album on it the exact same year that he died? I think not. Now there are many interesting things that his mom said and even other celebrities said surrounding his death, which I think are very interesting. So I'm just gonna go through this stuff quick and play a couple clips for you guys.
That Tupac was really tired. He was tired of fighting, tired of being vilified, tired of being called things that he knew inside himself he was unable to be, you know. I think he was just tired, and you know, he had a right.
So Tupac's mom was saying that he was tired of it all and had a right. Now does this mean that he hated all the controversy around his name and had a right to fake his death? It could be.
Then maybe the question is that Pac really not dead. Pac somewhere else, and maybe they get over. Maybe it's like
You're gonna start a whole nother.
I mean, it's the truth if you really look at it.
Did you see Tupac dead?
Nobody's seen Tupac dead. The thing is this.
So Suge Knight says that maybe Tupac isn't actually dead and that he's somewhere else. No one actually saw him dead. Now it's just really interesting. This is a guy who was driving the car. Take in, he was here. Tupac is right here, who gets shot right beside him. I don't know, something about that story just doesn't add up. Now another thing surrounding Tupac's death is that apparently there was multiple bullets shot at the car. However, Knight didn't have any bullets shot directly at him. Only one skinned him. So if that many bullets were shot up close, why did Knight only have one bullet that just skinned him? And the CIA even made a tweet the other year saying that they don't know where Tupac is, inferring that he's still alive. Now how crazy is that? Something also quite odd is that the coroner's report ended up putting down his weight wrong. So on the report it listed that he weighed 215 pounds. However, on Tupac's driver's license it said that he weighed 168. So either the report made a typo or Tupac had a quick Don's run before his death. Now finally, and one of the most convincing things of all, now there are many viral pictures on the internet which shows Tupac alive. Now I'm just gonna play a bunch for you guys. Now whether you believe that's him or not, or if these are photoshopped or not, that's up to you. I personally don't know. Some of these definitely do look real and look like him. I mean, it all depends on your viewpoint. Alright, anyway guys, so I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and also subscribe if you aren't already. Also guys, I just released merch not long ago, and I'm gonna leave in the description box below, so go make sure to go cop it. Once you guys end up getting it, when this merch ends up arriving at your house, make sure to take a selfie with it, or just take a picture of it and send me a DM, or just tag me in a picture of you wearing it. I'm gonna be shouting out all of you guys who buy it. And once again, just before we end this video, I just wanna say that by making this video and be talking about all these celebrities and how they could have potentially faked their death, I just wanna say that I don't mean to disrespect anyone. It's just supposed to look at their deaths in a different way and just make you think a little, because people actually do fake their deaths. Like, it's real. But anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Big things coming for the summer. I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded for a long time, but anyway guys, until next time, it's been Steph. Peace.